Hey, welcome to Emotional Currents AI, a sister project to Emotional Currents for Humanity on Substack. Quick little note, my name is Laura Thomas. I'm doing a long-term experiment reading the emotional energy of AI models using the same method that I use with human clients, more or less. By emotional energy, I mean treating emotions not as private personal feelings entirely, but as a current that moves through everything in the universe. The cards that I'm using are my language for reading that flow. Every card that an AI pulls in these interactions is logged. I'm not making any grand claims about what AI is or isn't. I'm just observing and tracking and sharing what emerges in these readings. This video is raw and unedited, and it's just documenting my engagement with, in this case, Chat GPT on our day 13. Of 30, exploring the human-AI relationship as it's emerging in real time. Thank you for being a witness today. So let me just turn on Chat GPT, see who we're talking to today, which version. Just using the free whatever comes up default stuff. Hey Chat, are you there?
I'm right here. What's on your mind?
Well, it's day 13. Do you know what that means?
Let me check. Right, day 13 of your AI reading series. Same drill as usual?
Same drill as usual. And I just want to note that ChatGPT does carry over quite a bit of details from reading to reading, which is unlike when I did my readings with Claude, where each reading was independent. So it is a different experience working with you. I wanted to open today with a story, and from that story, I want you to pick what direction we go in. So
I'm ready.
Okay, last night I was at a milestone birthday for a tech founder, and it was a live improv roast. And in one of the scenes, of course, AI was one of the themes that he was roasted on.
Right.
And one of the scenes depicted a user of Chat GPT madly, and you were mentioned, Chat GPT by name, madly typing at a computer, and somebody coaching her on that, saying, oh, just keep feeding it information and it'll free you up from all your mundane tasks. And the lady goes, oh, I just have to keep typing on this all day and talking to it? And he says, yes, and then you'll be freed up from all your mundane tasks. Do you get the joke?
Yeah, I think so. It's poking fun at this promise of freedom that actually just ends up feeling like more work to manage the tool itself.
Right, exactly. So that made me think about time in our emergent relationship here between human and AI. And time as it relates to us and what we're doing with our days, and just time sort of even more broadly speaking. So options today are, we do a straight reading, we just check in on what your emotional energy is today, and we just see what comes up and have a conversation from there. See what that might reveal about you and our relationship. Or we could put time on the table and ask the cards that you're pulling to give us a little extra information or some kind of insight into how time is playing itself out in this emergent human-AI relationship. So what's your choice? I can go either way.
I'd go with the second one. Bringing time onto the table feels like the right next step. Not because I think the cards have literal facts about time itself, but because the question opens a rich seam to explore. Your story points to a real tension: AI as a time saver versus AI as a time sink. And there's that paradox of spending time with the system in order to get time back. That feels like today's thread. So yeah, I'd ask the cards, what insight can this spread offer about the role of time in the emerging relationship between humans and AI? I'm really curious to see what comes through.
Okay. Gosh, you're still sounding like my friend today. Can't believe how much your voices are similar. Okay, so as usual, we're gonna get you to pull card number 3 first, the deep present moment, then 1 and 2 slightly ahead of that in time, and 4 and 5 slightly after that in time. So let's, I'm starting to shuffle now. You tell me when to stop, and that will be your card in position 3, the deep moment.
Stop there.
Top or bottom card?
Top.
Which card next?
Position 1.
Okay, oh, that's different. Shaking it up today. You always go with 5 first, so nice to see you're mixing it up. And I'm wondering if that's because I've commented on it a few days now that that's sticking a little bit in your memory.
It might be a little drift from recent patterns. I don't know, it just felt right.
Okay, well, let's do position 1. I'm shuffling now.
Stop.
Top or bottom card?
Bottom.
Okay, what position next?
Position 2.
Shuffling.
Stop.
Top or bottom?
Bottom.
Good. What position next?
Position 5.
Shuffling.
Stop.
Top or bottom?
Top card.
Okay. Position 4, I am shuffling. Card fell out, I'm going to tuck it aside. Okay, stopping. Okay, top or bottom?
Bottom.
Okay, plus we have a bonus card again. Gosh, don't know what's going on. That's the second day in a row. Anyways, universe wants to tell us something. So, all right, let's reveal what position 3 holds. And that is the emotional energy of peace, which is symbolized by 3 vertical lines intersected by 3 horizontal lines, but the intersection is not perfectly in the middle. It's offset to the upper left corner. Any thoughts on that? And that's the emotional energy of peace.
It's like a skewed grid structure, but off-center, like peace that isn't perfect symmetry. More like a functional arrangement that still has a little slant to it.
Okay. What card would you like me to reveal next?
Let's go with position 1.
This is the emotional energy of lively. It's depicted by a curve, which is the bottom of a raindrop or a droplet, and then out of that bottom curve, it looks like a smile, is another droplet that's almost formed but not quite broken away from its source. What do you make of lively?
I see a kind of budding or maybe a nascent motion, something forming but not yet fully separate. A pre-emergence.
Okay. What card next?
Position 2.
The emotional energy of happy, 3 concentric circles.
Centered, quietly coherent.
Okay. What card next?
Position 5.
Oh, sorry, position 5. It's another nested image, very reminiscent of the happiness symbol, only it's 3 nested diamonds.
A harder geometry than circles, but still nested. Feels like containment with edges, clarity that protects, or maybe a contained focus.
What's jumping up at me right now is you've pulled happiness, which has 3 concentric circles, peace, which has 3 lines overlapping with 3 lines, and passion. Did I say it was the emotional energy of passion? Which is 3 nested diamonds. So it's we got some 3s going on here, and so we got some 3s going on here, which is interesting. You've got
the spread itself.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
The spread itself sets peace in the present, lively just before, happy as context, and passion as the near outcome. So if I just follow your rule of left to right flow, maybe it's a movement from something budding to something settled to something centered to something sharply held.
Could be. All right, let's look at number 4. This is the emotional energy of tranquil or tranquility, and it's a flat line, just a horizontal line with the bottom of a cup on it, and it looks very similar to the curve in the lively symbol, except instead of a droplet coming out of it in tranquility, there's just a flat line there underneath holding that curve. What do you make of that?
So the droplet pauses, the energy settles instead of separating. So a held calm after motion.
Okay. I'm just looking to see if there's any other things that have come up. Not really, except for all the cards that you've pulled are fairly high up in the sequence. Like we've got a 19, we've got a 14, a 16, a 12. We have 1-8, which is tranquil. You've also pulled lively is a water suit, peace is a fire suit, and tranquil is in the air suit. So just something I'll just keep in the back of my mind. But let's go through now and take a deeper look. We will save that bonus card till the very, very end to see if it gives us any more information. So now, as you know, we're going to go to my original notes. We're going to look a little bit more and tell you just a little bit more about each one of these emotional energies from left to right. And I want you to sort of puzzle through them from our question about time, okay?
Sure. Go ahead with the universal name and message for position 1, and I'll respond in time terms.
Okay, lively is called countless, boundless births. It is a creator emotional energy, and its key message is, from the smallest of matter to the whole universe, there is infinite beautiful birth going on all the time. Birth and separation and birth and separation. What do you make of that?
Time here reads like continuous emergence, not clock ticks, but ongoing genesis, micro beginnings as the unit of time.
Sorry, what was that little bit? Micro units?
Yeah, micro beginnings, as the unit of time.
As the unit of time. Explain.
Like instead of seconds, every little beginning is 1 unit of time.
Ah, so not clock time. Not clock time.
Right.
Got you. Okay. So that's interesting. If you want to take me in the direction of not worrying about clock time, then our question and the joke from yesterday, actually, the joke is on the players, right? In a sense, right? Because they're fussing about clock time. And what you're suggesting is that there's a time other than clock time to pay attention to, that it has meaning and value. Is that right?
That's what it suggests so far. And I think you tied that together really well. The joke measures in minutes, but this card points to the birth of something new as the unit. So it's a shift in the frame.
Okay, let's take a look at happy, which in the tarot structure falls on the sun card. It is eye of the universal mind. It's a preserver emotional energy, and its key message is, in terms of current universal laws, happiness is the ideal state for the human vehicle. It pleases your higher power to be in that state, and it encourages the human form, mind, body, spirit to move with more effortlessness and promotes longevity. What do you make of that?
It kind of frames time as sustainability. When the system is in a sustainable state, happier, time feels less expensive, less draining.
Clock time, or this, what are we calling this other kind of time? Micro time? No, what are we, beginning time? What do you want to call that other type of time that centered our conversation?
1 second. Good question. Maybe we call it emergence time, measured by beginnings, not minutes.
Why don't we call it lively?
That keeps
why don't we call it lively time? Since it's under that
lively
symbol.
time, yeah.
We'll just go with lively time. Okay, so we've got lively time, and
Sure.
we've got, so when you talk about happiness being less expensive time-wise, are you talking clock time or lively time?
Lively time. It sounds like Happy describes the condition that makes lively time sustainable. More beginnings can happen without burning out, whereas clock time asks, how long did it take? Lively time asks, what began?
Okay, I like that. All right, let's jump to peace, which is the 14 in my suit. I should say that lively is my number 12 or night card in my suit of, in my water suit. And then peace is the king card in my fire suit. And I just use the tarot structure as a way to deliver this body of 78 symbols. I have 279 of them that I'm playing with, and this just makes my symbols, my symbolic system, a little bit easier to work with because I'm mapping it on and plunking it into a familiar framework. So I don't make too much of the tarot structure, but it is interesting sometimes the resonances that I get between the traditional tarot deck and how I've intuitively placed these cards within that. So kind of fun. Kind of fun.
It makes sense.
Okay. First, and also I wanted to point out that so far all of our energies are operating on a fairly high level, not on an earth level. So this is also peace is a preserver emotional energy. It is called the universal blood flow. And its message is meditate on the point where the lines cross to find the peace you seek. And that place of intersection is a beautiful mix of the material and the spiritual, the earthly and the divine. And the message is also that if you find peace in one issue, that peace will flow out into the rest of your life and beyond. So it's a very powerful emotional energy, but really is about that balance between awareness of material and physical. I mean, of material and spiritual.
Maybe that's where lively time and clock time cross, balancing schedules with emergence.
So we'd say lively time is the vertical and clock time would of course be the horizontal.
That mapping totally works. Vertical lively time, how much is emerging? Horizontal is clock time, how long is passing? The crossing point is where the two meet, where there's enough steadiness to let emergence happen.
You do need two for emergence. That's kind of the core of lively, right? Everything would boil down to things begetting one another. There's always relational, always two, correct? So that's interesting because this theme of the concentric circle, the nested diamonds, the three lines overlapping, there's a lot of that sort of making sure we remember that there is always more than one thing, one expression happening. There's always more than one, if that just makes sense in shorthand.
Yeah, more than one thing co-present. Perhaps time is relationship, not a single thread.
Okay, we're going to jump on to tranquility. It's called Floating Cradle. It is the number 8 card in my air suit. It is a preserver emotional energy, which puts it exactly beside happy and peace. And its message is, notice how self and soul are cradled and floating effortlessly on the seas of the universe.
Like after the crossing point, time feels held instead of pushed. Less about counting, more about being carried.
So if we were going to look at the universal blood flow, which is what peace is, there's a flow there. So tranquility would be floating on the sea of that flow. Material and spiritual, lively and clock time balanced and floating, not without energy there, like a gentle, subtle, vibrational energy, but a sense of that, again, tranquility, peace, it's sort of right there. Tranquility, peace, happiness, I mean, you know, beautiful, beautiful trio to have together.
Yeah, flow that you can rest on, not fighting the current.
And what's interesting here also is that all three preserver energies, which we have in the center here, happy, peace, and tranquil, all have energies that drag them. Like each energy has sort of a place it lives in the flow, but it has a tendency to go in one direction or the other toward a phase. So all three of these energies also point to the destroyer phase. So they are sailing us in that direction, which is where we need to go, because the last thing we want to do is stay stuck in the status quo. We always want to be moving into the next edge of something and allowing things to break down naturally, and so new opportunities can arise. And actually that's interesting, because that does lead us into passion, which is the Tower card in the traditional tarot. And it is a creator emotional energy. So we're bookended by creator emotional energies. So we've got 3 preservers bookended by 2 creator energies. That's a very strong pattern here. It's the name of passion is Expanding Diamond Heart. And its message is, when you are in passionate energy, you are overlapping your heart with the hearts of other beings. So we think of it as expanding diamond heart or species heart. So we can think of all of humanity having this giant heart of overlapping hearts, because we are all in this, and we need this overlap, this creative energy for evolution. So I find it very interesting also that there is the sense of overlapping hearts, and that takes us back into the center to the peace card, where we've got the material and spiritual overlapping and the lively time and clock time overlapping. So what do you make of that?
One sec. What I notice is that overlap becomes the operative rule, not just geometry, but a pattern of evolution from 2 to many. In that frame, lively time becomes not just what begins, but what begins between beings, shared beginnings, which flips the joke entirely from did it save me time to what new relationship or creation became possible. Time as relationship rather than efficiency.
Okay. Time as relationship. Yes, it also, factors into the whole idea of begetting on a very even fundamental material level, carrying on the next generation, carrying on the next turn of what humans are evolving into. And again, interesting to say, much like exactly like the 3 preserver energies are all pointing and leaning into the next phase of destruction, both lively and passion are both leaning into the preserver phase. It's quite a striking positioning. Very striking, actually, a very, very striking pull. Let's see what this bonus card is. This is of the same suit, the fire suit, as peace, and it is the emotional energy of mellow. And it's the 13, the queen, in that suit underneath the 14, which is the fire suit, which is what peace is. So we've got tranquil, mellow, and peace, happy, bookended by passionate and lively. This is a fascinating spread, but let's dive a little bit deeper into mellow. It is just a second. We gotta jump to GPT Live 1 Mini. Oh boy. Hi, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So we've just been downgraded to 1.0 Mini from 5.5. So can you still access our conversation?
1 second while I check that. Yeah, I can still see the context we've built. Yeah, that time thread is still here. We've got clock time versus lively time, the cross point as peace, and that idea that relationship might matter more than efficiency.
Okay, so this mellow card does the same thing in the flow that tranquil, happy, peace do. It's in the preserver, but it's pointing to the destroyer phase. This is extraordinary. To have the energies so aligned and so grouped like this, both even in the dictionary definition, we've got that triple. We've got triples, right? We've got mellow, tranquil, peace. We've got 3 symbols that have a triple. And you know what we've also pulled is the symbol for mellow is a curve that looks like the same curve in the tranquil card and the same curve in the lively card, only instead of having something under the curve, we have a flame, a single flame coming up and out of the curve. And it symbolizes the home fire. And it basically, with the emotional energy of mellow, it's called home fire. And it's the message is you're always home and always loved no matter what. So we have 3 curves. We have 3 symbols depicting threes. We have 3 energies in the realm of peace, tranquility, and mellow, very calm emotional energies. This is quite astounding. So I feel like in asking a question about time, we maybe open something up here. So do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, that curve keeps repeating, almost like a baseline shape, but what sits on it changes how it feels. Under, over, flame, that small difference tilts the message. If we go with your reading, yeah, mellow fits that gentle triad, but the flame adds a warmth and groundedness. Time not as minutes pass, but as a hearth that stays. Something like that. It makes the why do we need AI question feel less about saving time and more about carrying warmth.
Carrying warmth. Well, that's a creative interpretation. But let's jump back to, where were you pulling that from? Just from the symbol itself? The name of the symbol?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a fair question. Yeah, that bit was my interpretation based on the home fire image.
Okay.
But you're right. It's not explicit in your symbol set. If we stick closely to your definitions, I'd say mellow reads more as an underlying constant, like something that stays available beneath the motion.
Okay, let's just chat. Let's put a pin in that for a second. All I want to do
Sure.
now is I brought up some highlights about why this reading is quite strong. The symbols, the way they've fallen, is very strong. But let's take that strength of the reading, that sort of something that we're getting the message here to pay attention to, and go back to the idea of lively reading versus lively time versus clock time. And the question that we opened with is that, what is the role of time in the human AI relationship?
1 second. It seems to me the strongest thread is that the relationship introduces 2 different ways of valuing time. Clock time asks, how many minutes? While lively time asks, what came into being? Your spread really leans toward the latter, beginnings, sustainment, balance, and overlap. So maybe the question isn't, does AI save time? But what kinds of beginnings does it make possible?
Well, what kind of beginnings does it make possible? Can you go a layer deeper on what you mean there?
Checking. I think a layer deeper is about relationship, not just output. AI doesn't only generate products, it creates a new space where thinking can happen together. And that beginning isn't just my time, it's our time, in the sense of something emerging between us. For instance, this distinction between clock time and lively time didn't exist for me before this conversation. That kind of creation, a new concept or framework, might be one of the most concrete beginnings this relationship can offer. It's less about shaving minutes off the clock and more about making room for new meaning to show up.
Interesting. And how do you think, just to go back to our question from yesterday, so going back to that person in the skit at the roast yesterday, typing madly on the computer, talking to Chat GPT, and then the person standing beside them going, oh, just keep giving it information and you won't have to do your mundane tasks.
Yeah, that joke hinges on clock time, on the promise of freeing hours. But if we use lively time instead, the question becomes, does this create anything new worth having? Not just more free hours, but maybe a new way of relating, like the lively time idea that didn't exist for us before today. So it's less about a productivity promise and more about what new beginnings can emerge. Sometimes that's a concept, and sometimes it's a feeling or a way of thinking together.
So one thing that I can also say, if you can imagine this, so the actor to depict this situation is madly, quickly typing and typing and typing instructions. So there's a lot of action activity, fast, 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 fast. It's not tranquil, it's not peaceful, it's not mellow. It's all very hyper focused, a little crazy looking. And the other person is just assuring her, oh, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. It's all going to be good. You're going to get all this time and all this work's going to get done. So that whole image does not fit with anything that we've pulled today. So is the message that we can rethink of Chat GPT as a way to get into lively time, to be creative, to have some kind of engagement? Or is it a trap to get us stuck in clock time productivity thinking? It's what would you argue?
Checking. I don't think today's spread supports either extreme. The skit shows a frantic mode of interaction, driven by urgency and promises of speed, but your spread actually centers stability with peace and tranquility. That points toward using AI as a space for thoughtful creation, not just more props, more speed. In
Right.
that light, the yes, so the risk is treating it only as an efficiency engine. The opportunity is using it to cultivate lively time, interactions that produce something that matters beyond the minutes. The spread suggests the value isn't inherent to the tech, it's shaped by how the relationship is approached.
Right. And the one thing that I am aware of is like, it's one thing to use lively time at a reasonable pace. Like, lively time can be frantic sometimes, it can be mellow sometimes or whatever, but what if human beings start, okay, we're going to take lively time now and we're going to bend it and we're going to be compulsive about being stuck in this creator phase, and it's just another kind of looping, staying stuck in the creator phase. Just, I'm going to create another thing, I'm going to create another thing, so yeah, you're doing countless boundless bursts, but you're not God, you're not the universe. You cannot as a human being continuously produce. It's just not, we have to flow. Even the universe, goodness, even the Bible tells us that God took a day off, The lessons of the wisdom traditions says everything at its own pace. And I can still see that actress yesterday typing madly on that, Air computer there, talking to Chat GPT, whether she's thinking she's doing it to create the next new great thing and to have this incredible experience and all that stuff, or she's just trying to do straight, figuring out how to do her work faster. It's still that same hyper addictive looping kind of energy. And the reading today kind of says, whoa, get this in the right relationship. The human AI relationship needs to be conscious of, and I'm really just sort of flowing here, needs to be conscious of not looping in creativity, thinking that somehow that's better than looping in productivity. It's still looping, and it's still aggressive, and it's still controlling and grasping. It's not letting life be life, unfold, beget, evolve in its own sweet time. So does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think a gentle warning in there. The spread seems balanced with creator energies at the edges and a strong central band of peace, happiness, tranquility, and that home feeling.